Welcome everyone to another episode of All Things Accounting. So from my previous video, I did say that we'll be having a series on alternatives to the ACCA route. So this is one of those. So today we'll be discussing ACCA. With me, I have Kamo. Hi, Kamo.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all good.
Please can you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Kamogelo, currently studying BCom accounting and aspiring to be an ACCA member.
Okay, cool. Did you always want to be an accountant?
No, honestly, I don't want to lie, no. I think I was one of those students who never really had a big dream. Never dreamt of being a doctor, a teacher. No, it was just one of those, I'm just doing everything for the sake of doing it, right? So because of that, I was advised to take physics and accounting. So I did physics and accounting and fell in love with accounting, and I was like, okay, why not? Let me just branch into accounting and see what it has in store for me, and that's how I landed in accounting.
And that's what it, yeah. You know what you said when you were like you didn't know what to do? It reminded me of a childhood memory. In primary, right, in primary teachers around grade 2, grade 1, they'll be like, there'll be those simple questions or that stuff, right? Learning how to write, what you wanna be, and things like that. I left that question blank. I think I actually wrote, I don't know, and then my teacher was like, no, you have to write something, Then I was like, okay, cool, doctor. And then I was fixated with that I want to be a doctor just because I put it on a piece of paper, and by the time in matric, I was like, all my classmates were like, they want to be a doctor, like their careers revolve around being a doctor. I was like, if I do this, it will probably be B because my aunt is a doctor, so probably that, or I'll do it because my classmates are doing it, and I didn't want that for myself. So that's how I ended up in here. For the first few months, I thought I was the only one here in accounting, but yeah, so that's not the case. Anyway, back to you. You said that you loved accounting. You loved accounting in high school.
Yeah.
You still love accounting?
Well, I still love accounting. However, I have a module that I favor more than accounting. Even though it's a bit, which is auditing. But accounting is the basis of everything, so it's still one of my best lovers.
Okay, before you get into auditing, I just want to know that from high school to university, what you imagined in high school, was it the same thing that you got in university?
Oh no, totally different experience.
Just tell us about that. Yeah.
Like totally different experience. I don't want to lie. I mean, I'm a numbers person, and I expected to actually get something numbers related.
And everyone, when they talk about accounting, it's always
numbers. And I'm like, no, I'm a numbers person, so this is just gonna be where I eat my life,
Yeah.
And I got here and I'm like, what? What do you mean I must write an essay on something accounting related? What do you mean I must now have legislations and read it? Like, no, I was just expecting debits, credits, balance sheets, all those things. I mean, I used to leave out those theory questions because I was like, man, I'll still get my distinction irregardless. But then you get here and you're like, oh, I should have trained myself with writing those smaller theory questions.
And in high school, they were so small to a point whereby you like,
these are not important.
It's insignificant.
Thank you.
It's just insignificant. The mark allocation is just like 10% of the exam. Funny enough, my classmate, not my classmate, rather my deskmate, used to love those. She used to prefer those, and I was like, The thing is, I didn't understand what was going on there. So it's like, if I have to answer this, I would have to understand it, and I'm not seeing myself understanding it. I don't see myself putting in the time to understand it. But yeah, it's theory. It's theory now.
I'm remembering something from high school. So, prelims I ate prelims out. And I realized that I actually missed out on 2% because of theory questions. And he literally came to me and he was like, do you understand that if you wrote this theory question, you would have gotten 100%? I'm like, that's the thing. I just wanted to ensure that my balance sheet balances, my income statement is correct, and that's it. And then now you get here, everything is so theory related. Everything.
I'm learning to love it, but I hate it.
I think we're forced to love it.
Yeah, you're forced to love it because you have no other option, right?
True.
Yeah. Okay, now let's bring it back to ACCA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me more about ACCA? Like, what is ACCA? Starting from the ACCA.
Okay, so ACCA is an association of chartered accountants. Yeah. So it's a association of chartered certified accountants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's more internationally. So your UK, India's, somewhere there, but it's an international, which is a global chartered accountancy, right, body, instead of CASA, which is local. So ACCA is a global body, which allows you to have global opportunities, working outside of South Africa, other than CASA. Well, it still does, but CASA is more based on South Africa, and the ACCA one is more global, internationally standards based. Yeah.
A quick summary of that. When she means globally, SSA is established in 180 countries, right? And with that being said, it's a UK. Well, it was first established in UK, so it's a UK body kind of thing. It's a UK body for chartered accountants. And with that being said, when she's mentioning its global impact, right? It means that if I'm accredited with ACCA right now in South Africa, I can simply pack my bags, cross the border to Namibia, go to the White Shores, and become an accountant there. It's that simple. Unlike SAICA. With SAICA, as much as we are recognized, accounted internationally, right? But you can't just pack your bags and go, right? Like there's that limitation right there, that you either have to be working in a company in South Africa and they're like, hey man, go to work for other branch in the UK or do something like that, In that way you still get to travel, but it's a little bit harder, to leave the shores of South Africa. Yeah. So with SAICA, we've already established in my previous video that SAICA has board exams, right? And it has some requirements. What are the requirements of SSA? Actually, just, studying SSA?
Well, ACCA, another thing about ACCA is that it's not limited to accounting students, It's a very flexible body, I could say. So there's if you're doing an accounting degree and financial, I do believe also financial, in the financial sector, then you are bound to write at least 4 exams instead of 13. So the main part is that there's 13 exams that you need to write, right? And I believe that because of our degree, we cover all that. We cover like 9 of them, hence we have exemptions to it, and then we go to that PG dip where you bridge into the ACCA postgrad program, right? I don't know if I answered that question properly, or you want me to go into detail and depth about it.
Now I'm kind of lost. Okay, let me bring it back. So ACCA, there are 2 ways to get into ACCA, right? That's where I wanted to actually start from, in the sense that you can get to ACCA straight from matric. It's very nice. I wish I'd done that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's what we're trying to preach actually with this video series, with this YouTube channel, right? You can actually go to ACCA from matric, straight from matric, but you'd have the only issue with that, you would have to write all the 13 exams, right? And it's not much of an issue because let's just put it into perspective. From first year up until now in my third year, when I finish my third year, I'll probably have written more than 13 tests, or
Yeah.
So just putting into perspective, it's like they're starting you from scratch, the same way university would have started you from scratch from first year. Then if you do have a degree, a BCom degree, a finance degree, then you, depending on where you did it, you'll be exempt for 9 exams. Then you still have to do the 4, right? That's where the major differences with the between ACCA and ACCA start from, the flexibility. And mind you, when you say that 13 exams, are they end of year exams?
No. Isn't it that you write, how many terms do you have in a year? 4, right? 4 terms.
Exactly. So with ACCA, you'd have to finish your accredited ACCA degree, that's your 3 years, then have a postgraduate, which is your theory in accounting, a certification in theory in accounting, CTA, then only start doing your articles then, right? With ACCA, saying that, for example, let's say that you actually entered an ACCA program from matric, you're gonna have 13 exams, which you can write 4 per year, right? You can write 4 per year because ACCA exams are written quarterly. I feel like that's the best thing, because right now, even if you were to say that you've done your degree and you wanna take your SSA journey, you have 4 exams that you can write in 1 year. You're still equivalent, your journey will still be equivalent from someone who's doing their ACCA, right?
Let me get to the layers of it. So if you're shooting straight from matric and you're getting straight into the ACCA route, so there's 3 layers. The first layer is foundation in professional, like the foundation in professionalism. So in that module, that's where I do think that's the introduction of accounting, so it's like a simple accounting,
I think they're just trying to introduce
you to accounting,
saying that in high school you didn't even do accounting.
So because, as we said, it's not only for accounting students and stuff like that. You can be in your engineering sector and still decide to do ACCA, right?
Yeah.
And then the second pillar is applied knowledge and applied skills. So that's when they teach you about your ethics, your professional skills. It's all related to professionalism, your ethics, how to. That is something that we do second year, third year. Yeah. So in that you have like 6 modules under the ethics and professionalism skills, and in the first one you have 3 modules. And then that's when you get to.
So we're now at the 9.
At the 9, that's how it goes. And then after that, that's when we all get into, just like now. Now I have to doing my final year, then I have to get a PGDIP. So at VETS they call it PGDIP, right? I don't know in other sectors what exactly do they have it under as. And then that's where you have your strategic professional, right? Which is now more practical. It's like everything that is theory related will be practical theory.
Like right now they're trying to make sure that if they send you into a company, you know exactly what you do.
Yes. And there you have like 4 modules. So in those 4 modules, there's 2 that are compulsory, right? And those 2 that are compulsory, it's strategic business leader and strategic business reporting. And then we have the optional one. You see how
it's nice.
It's very it's like, no, I'm gonna give you a choice what to do, nice.
Do what like aligns to your personality,
we have your audit and assurance, which is auditing 3, or audit and assurance 3, because we have people who are doing audit and assurance instead of auditing 3, right? And then we also have advanced financial management, right? And then we also have performance management and taxation. So there you'll just pick your 2 fighters. If you know you're good with text, you're like, okay, I'm going with text.
But I think also aligns where you wanna see yourself, right? There's no use for me to be doing something that's so auditing related, but I don't see myself as an auditor. I might just want the chartered accountant accreditation, but I don't really want to do auditing, you know. So I feel like that's their biggest selling point, that yes, we see you, we want to be a chartered accountant. What do you want to actually do?
That was like giving you an option.
Yeah, let's specialize on what you want to do. Let's not follow the masses, right? I feel like that's their biggest. I love them for that.
True.
I feel like that's why I am even considering that, because I want the accreditation that I'm a CA, but I really don't want to go the audit route, and I didn't want to like embark myself with auditing as much as I'll be required to do that with ACCA. And mind you, I'm not saying that all ACCA people have an audit, right? Don't take me wrong for that. Like, all I'm saying is that when you're studying, you have be doing auditing for like advanced auditing in ACCA terms, but like that don't mean that you somehow can do auditing. If you are trained in audit, like you went to go into a firm and you're trained in auditing and stuff, but I just don't need auditing with me. That's my take on it.
Let me get into that one. So there's differences between ACCA, right, and CSA.
Yeah.
That difference is the audit report signing. So if you genuinely want to be an auditor, like I'm like, okay, you know what, I want to be a registered auditor, you know. You can't directly, you can extract reports, right? But you can't necessarily directly sign audit reports. So that's the difference. But then
from the get-go, right?
From the get-go, like as an ACCA.
Yeah.
But then the great part about it is like, oh no, it's fine. You can actually add an additional qualification to that.
And that's the RA.
And then we have that's where the
auditor.
Yes, that's where the RA comes in. You'll have like an 18-month program that you have to do, and which is called audit development program, right? And that's when you'll get the accreditation of RA. You know, like I'm an ACCA member and I can still sign audit report. So even if you want to be a registered auditor, ACCA is still the way for you to actually consider it, because just after you finish with like minimum 4 years in it, right, you can still have that 18-year program that is going to allow you to actually still be able to sign off audits. So there's no major difference anymore, because that was the only difference we had.
That was the major
thing that, oh my god, I can't sign audits, you know. But now I was like, oh no, you can. You just have an additional 18 months to do that ADP program, and then you'll be able to be a registered auditor that can actually sign off audit reports.
I want us to go and talk about the actual 4 years that you talked about. But before we go there, now I'm losing my train of thought. Let's just go there. I want to still think of the other thing. You mentioned the 4 years. What is the 4 years made up of?
So that 4 years is still made up of what we spoke about, those 3 pillars that we spoke about, right? So I do believe that, let me make an example, right? So we have, I'll make an example with our degree, right? If you're doing become accounting, that's 3 years of study, right? And then just after the 3 years of study, you get straight into the PGDIP, right? And then that's when, after the PGDIP, which is 1 year, you then get into your training articles.
Oh,
right?
That's okay.
So it's still the same thing, as I do believe that if you shoot straight from high school to ACCA, you have the first year of foundation in professionalism modules, which is like 3 modules. Your first year you have like 3 modules. Your second year you'd have to do your applied knowledge and skills. That's when you get to do like 6 modules, because man, it's like auditing related also, because you need to learn about CPC, how to act, how to be ethical, how to be, and then there's the last part of it, which is, I think probably, I'm not sure about how it goes about on the applied knowledge and skills, and how you can actually write, because remember you have 9 exams to write before you get to the strategic professional part, which is the PGDIP. So I'm not sure how exactly do they go about it, but the minimum time you can actually spend is like 3 to 4 years in like acquiring that ACCA program, then after that you'd have to do your training articles.
So it's kind of like the same thing
It
with
is.
ACCA, because with ACCA you still spend 4 years after matric, still 4 years in a classroom. Then after that you still need 3 years of training. Now, this is where I actually wanted to say before I lost my train of thought. But if you're doing, some universities, they're having different accounting programs, like Wits, for instance, right? There's BCom accounting, and then there's also Bachelor of Accounting Science, right? BCom accounting, as I've said before, it's not ACCA accredited, right? But it is ACCA accredited. If I wanted to do a ACCA accredited program right now, if I wanted to be a CASA, I would have to add 1 more year, which is the PTCA, which is me just bridging into the accounting science, right?
Which is repeating the same modules you're doing this year.
I'll be repeating the same modules that I'm doing this year, repeating my 3rd year. Just the only difference that won't be doing accounting, I'll be now doing financial accounting, right? But like, that's costly.
True.
That's energy draining. Like, currently, if I'm being honest, if I were to be honest, I would say that this year it's a lot to take in. Like, at some point, like it's a bit overwhelming, because there's a lot that's required from you as a student, and also you have the pressure of next year, what is my next step, you see, right? But then now with SSA is like, you don't have to spend another year in class, an additional year in a class. Come with us and you still be fine, you know.
You'll still be a chartered accountant.
You'll still be fine, right? So like that's another reason why you might want to consider SSAA over ACCA, because like the financial aspects of things.
Also, can I add something on the financial aspect? So there's one important thing that I feel like majority of people miss when it comes to the ACCA part, which is, so next year when I'll be doing my ACCA, the PGDIP, when I'll be doing my PGDIP, I still have to pay financial fees to be a member of the ACCA body. So that amount is a bit crazy, guys, I don't want to lie, but it's like 20k. But now when you amount it to the amount that you would have spent repeating, and then CTA, because also CTA you counted it, you still have to, it's another year in academics, you know, academics, so it is really affordable when you look at it in that sense, because you only have to pay like 20k for membership fee, because obviously you need to be part of the body. For you to be part of the body, we all know, guys, you need to pay for you to be part of a specific body, right? So they consider you part of their body whilst you're even still a student, right? That allows you to gain access to majority of the ACCA information, you know. They're very good actually at that. The ACCA route is such a caring body, I don't want to lie, such a caring body. They provide resources on how to study, you know, those additional resources that you would get outside of where you will be studying, you know.
Remember that from high school you can go into SSA, right? So they're trying to bridge a gap between that gap that your lecturer would have like stand in. If you are now at home and you're saying that I'm doing SCCA, I can't just be studying books, right? I need someone to tell me, what am I actually studying? What's the point of this? Why am I doing this, right? That's where their learning resources come in. That's where their platform comes in. And also what I like about their platform is that also jobs, they're like
very visible.
Like they're very visible and they like, okay, if India needs an accountant or Dubai, whatever place that you're able to just see that, okay, it's like a buffet of jobs, like you just choose in one platform instead of going in different sites looking for different jobs. You know, you just look at one platform and be like, okay, I'm finishing my exams in the next 3 months. Let me see which training company can I go to? I can apply to. Or I'm done with my training in this company. I don't really want to stay here. I feel like they've given me enough. Now I want to explore something else, you know, something new. you get to see it in the same platform that you've been using ever since you started your SSA journey, right? And that's really amazing thing. Now, what haven't we covered actually?
I think on the basis of that, what you just said about the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So someone might say, actually, I want to be an ACCA, but I don't want to go outside of South Africa. You know,
Yeah.
There are still firms that are actually considering ACCA. Some have already considered them.
Yes.
It's just that it's lack of knowledge. You know, it's one of those things. So yesterday I was actually baffling about this. I'm like, oh my god, where am I going to get a job? You know, if I become a qualified ACCA, and initially was like, you are looking at the incorrect batch. Like you are searching for information in the incorrect places. ACCA is really international. Now that gives you an advantage. Imagine earning in pounds whilst you're still staying in SA. You can still be an ACCA member and actually work as an ACCA member online. So you do all of your duties online where you at, but yet earning in a different country. You'll be earning in probably, where could I say, Dubai, Europe.
Besides that, I see the earning part of it, but like instead of searching for something where everyone else is searching, you have a broader space to search in. With CASA, you would probably be searching for training in SA. You would probably want to work in SA. SSA is like, okay, we'll see you.
And you guys are struggling with jobs there.
And you really are. South Africa is something else.
South Africa has no jobs there. It's fine.
South Africa is really something else. But it's like giving you an option that whatever UK islands you wanna go to, whatever place you wanna go to, you can. You can. You just have to apply. You know, that's it. Just to show interest, and the rest will like, okay. It's not really that simple, but yeah, the point that I'm trying to get across is that you can do whatever you wanna do, wherever you wanna do with the SSA program. Is there anything else?
I think what I wanted to cover also is that, so you see how we're speaking about the ACCA program as if it's really easy and stuff like that. I want to jump it back to people that it's not as easy as it looks, but it's much better because it's flexible.
Yeah.
You know, like at least you can say you're not going to wake up today and write all 4 of those modules in one sitting. You know that, okay, this quarter I'm focusing on this, then I'm focusing on this, then I'm focusing on this. Or actually you could even say, oh no, I'm taking it part-time. Part-time, you're saying I'm still doing my training articles, you'll still be in the training sector, and then they'll consider you as someone who is actually studying towards ACCA. If you do it part-time, if you do it part-time, you'll have 2 years to consider. You have to do it well, in our cases, because we are bridging, right, to the ACCA course. You'd have 2 years to actually do it. So you'd have 2 years to split it in, I don't know which modules you decide to split. You probably split whichever modules that you chose, right? And then in that 2 years, you'll be able to also work, which is you getting your training. And then immediately after those 2 years that you've done your exams and you've written all of your exams, you're like, okay, I only have 1 training year, 1 year to train, then I'm qualified as an ACCA member.
I love it. There are 2 points that I want to check here with what you just said. The flexibility part. You know how hard it is to repeat something that you already did. You know? And SSA is like, okay, you don't have to wait eternity before you can actually retake this test. If you fail something in March, it's fine. If you're geared for it, you can write it in June. But if you're not, you can write it in September. If you're still not, you can write it in December. You see, your year in that case is not wasted. It's not like if I fail in March, I'll have to wait for March again. You know, if I failed now, I have an opportunity to retake the test in the next quarter, which is very nice, because it's very great, because it's really depressing to be in the same position as if you're not trying. So yeah, that's the first aspect. The next aspect is the training part. SSA training it's a bit flexible kind of vibe. If remember what she said, you could be in engineering and be like, I want to be an SSA member, I want to be a chartered accountant, right? With that being said, you see, you're already in a sector, right? You're already working. If it so happens that where you were working, you were in the finance space, I'm not saying you're at the ShopRite at the tills. I'm not saying you're at Pick and Pay at the checkpoint, you know. I'm saying you're actually at the bedroom there with the managers in the finance space of things. That you can submit that as your experience, and if they approve it, that will be your experience, you know. So after your academics, you already have your experience down, you know. You already have your experience down, and yeah, that's another nice part about it. So there's a lot of flexibility. It's like do this. You don't want to, okay, fine, do this then. You know, you don't want to, okay, fine, do this thing. You know, there's a lot of flexibility with it, and like that's I'll repeat again, flexibility is their biggest selling point.
True.
It's honestly their biggest selling point. Come, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having this conversation with us and being informative for all of our viewers at home. And from any one of you who's watching who's interested in the SSA program, please go to the SSA website and just see how can it best fit you. Also, you please use LinkedIn for someone who's already in the SSA training. They might have a better practical examples or practical explanations because they're already in the program. Remember, we are speaking from the researcher's point of view, right? I'm still a student. I'm just still trying to figure out what will I do next. Someone is already in my next, you know. So reach out to those people and continue researching about your next. If ACCA is not the only option,
I think a lot of people have been like South Africa have made it seem like ACCA. That's the only option.
I'm studying accounting. Oh, you wanna be a chartered accountant? You wanna be a CASA?
I wanna be a chartered accountant, but an ACCA one.
Like, I wanna be an accountant, but not really necessarily a chartered accountant. Some people don't get that. And as I've said before, this is what this series is all about. Just giving you options on what you can do besides being a chartered accountant. There are a lot of options out there. You just have to know what you're looking for. You just have to know yourself. What are you capable of, rather. Thank you for watching. Cheers.